Hey guys, David Jenkins here, and today I thought we would go ahead and cover a network topic rather, port forwarding. And while we cover this topic, we're going to use the ever so popular game called Minecraft as an example of setting up port forwarding for. So let's say you wanted to run a server locally on your computer and have people that aren't on your network connect to it, so aren't in your LAN, local access network, be able to connect to it. And you need to, it's a few step process, but the main things that you need to remember are you need to give whoever's going to connect to your server that isn't local, you need to give them your public IP address, and you can easily find that if you don't know it. Google search what's my IP or anything on as that. Make sure you're not behind a VPN or something while you do that. Other than that, you need to take note of the port number that your server is running on locally on your computer, and then you need to set up port forwarding in the router. As long as you have access to your router in your local network, then this all can be done easily. So let's go ahead and get started. To start off, we will go ahead and run the local Minecraft server. I actually do not have anyone that's going to connect to it, so I don't know why I'm running it, but that's besides the fact. So we'll go ahead and run our local server with all the default settings. So now that it's starting up, if someone attempted to connect to our server at this point with our public IP address, it wouldn't work. We haven't covered the fact of port forwarding yet, so the router would see the request and it wouldn't know what the hell to do with it, and it would just ignore it. It would say, screw it, no, we don't know how to handle this, and then the request generally would time out on the client side, the person connecting to you. So let's go ahead and set up a port forwarding. So with port forwarding, you need to take note of your local IP address. So if you're on a Unix system, you could run the command oops, ifconfig, sorry about that. You can run ifconfig, all one word, and look right here. I am on 192.168.1.100. If you are on a Windows-based system, I believe that one's the IP config. I haven't ran Windows in a while, but I'm 99% sure if you opened up a command prompt and typed that in, you would get your local IP address. So let's go ahead and connect to our router, and this is generally 192.168.1.1. And if you're on a Linksys, the default password and username is admin and admin, I believe. I'm not quite sure. If you have something else, you can always go look up some documentation or something. But once you're inside your router, so to speak, you'll need to look for the port forwarding section. Under Linksys, it's generally applications and gaming, and you'll see port range forward. Here you'll see that I have actually already set up two things. One's enabled, one's not. So now that we're at this screen, let's go ahead and go back to our Minecraft server running and see what port it's running on. If you look up here where it says start Minecraft server on *:, this is the port number 25565. So we'll go ahead and copy that. First we'll give it a name or description, so let's say Minecraft server. Well, that wouldn't fit, so let's just do Minecraft. Start, since it's only one port, the start and end will be the same. We'll keep the protocol as both, and then we will set up for your local IP address. Mine is 100, so I'll type that in. I will click enable, and I'll click save settings. port overlap occurred. That's my fault. I forgot my wife actually has a Minecraft server running on her computer, and I have it set up for a range of ports from 25500 to 25600, just in case she decides to run more and I don't have to go back in and change or add more ports, yada yada. So I will actually go ahead and not enable it at this point, just because no one's going to be connecting. I might be able to. Yeah, no. Okay. Okay. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that. But the point of the matter is, once you do this and save the settings, generally you don't have to restart your router, but you might have to. But once that's done, you get your local IP address. Like I said, you can do what's my IP, just Google search it, or you can look. Give me 1 second. No, that's the DNS. What am I thinking? Ought to be under status. Okay, here it is. So this is my public IP address. So let's say if I went back and I set up the port forwarding like I just did, and I saved it and everything, and I gave this to a user right here, and then they did 25565 in Minecraft, then they would be able to connect to my Minecraft server, my local one. And what happens is the user, I'll call him the client, is sending a request to our public IP address. Once they go through all the hops and everything, get to our IP, it'll go ahead and say, I'm requesting your network, and I'm looking for an application that's running on port 25565. The router looks in the port forwarding, and it's like, okay, I see that we are handling this request on 25565 at the local IP address of, let's say, just 102, because that's my wife's computer. So it'll redirect or forward that request to 192.168.1.102 locally. Her computer will handle the request, send it back to the router. The router will change some of the headers to handle the public IP address, and then boom, it'll send it out. That's pretty much the basics behind port forwarding. Once you do that, anyone generally can connect to your Minecraft server. But it's the same method as if you're doing it for any other game, or if you're running a local server or something. So like right here, I was doing a client project, and they wanted to see the work that has been done on it and stuff. No, actually, this one was specific. There was something that I needed them to check out for their opinion on. So I set up port forwarding on port 8080. I gave them my IP address, told them how to connect, and then from there, it connected to the local server that was running, and then they got the response back. So it works with web pages or anything. The default port for a web page, though, and I know this is getting off topic, is 80, and then if it's an HTTPS request, that's 443. But most internet service providers have port 80 and port 443 and port 21, which is FTP, and even 22, which is SSH. Most of them have those ports blocked, so I needed to not use port 80, and I needed to use port 8080. That's why I used said port. But besides the fact, it works the same way for all applications that need to be connected to from behind a router. If you have any questions or concerns, just let me know in the comment box, or message me, or tag me in Google+, or tweet me on Twitter. Anything to grab my attention, and I'll get back to you.